we have to start with the headline numbers. Turnover and profits about 10% below the guidance that the company provided during the scheme of merger with BCC. Can you just highlight to us the issues there? Nevertheless, we did see analysts point to the fact that Q4 numbers were quite strong.
Well, as you rightly said, we achieved a figure of about 90% of what we had projected. But you must have also seen that we had significantly improved in the profit after tax to the tune of 74% compared to the year 2009. And as you rightly pointed out, that the Q4 results were quite good. Basically, we could achieve an improvement in 74% improvement in profit after tax because of improving operational efficiencies. We had improved machine productivity levels, the operative productivity levels, as well as the capacity utilization. So what happened was the local production shot up very substantially. If you see the year 2009, out of the total production of cement, about 40% was, close to 40% was from imported through the terminals. But in the year 2010, the imported cement came to close to 20%, and the rest of the production came from local companies where we are manufacturing from the limestone. So that had a significant impact on the bottom line.
But one area that analysts continue to ask for some clarity on is your African expansions, and when are you likely to consolidate those investments into the Dangote Cement numbers? We know that you are invested in Shepaku in South Africa, we have a Senegal plant, and we are obviously looking elsewhere as well. Give us a sense of when we'll begin to see those numbers consolidated.
Well, we had a board meeting about 3 weeks back, and we had already placed it before the board that all our other African assets, including one in South Africa, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Zambia, Senegal, Congo, Gabon, Cameroon, Sierra Leone, all these assets should all be brought into the Dangote Cement PLC, and the board has already approved. So now this will be going for further discussions, and it will go to the shareholders meeting. And once the approval is there, we will bring everything in, and it should happen very soon.
Okay, look forward to that. And of course, you are looking elsewhere as well. Imagine other countries on the African continent. But the big question is how you want to finance this expansion. We saw that your dividend payouts down to 62% compared to the 75% which you guided as well. And what's the story behind that? Are you saving for further investments?
Yeah, this was one of the issues which was debated very well in our last board meeting of Dangote Cement. And our directors, including the independent directors, were very strongly of the opinion that the company should conserve the cash generated for investment, especially if we are going to bring in all these other new assets. As I said, we are making very massive investments in these new African projects, and to take advantage of the internal revenue generation, we decided that we'll preserve the cash.
All right, let's talk about expansion going forward. And I think another area where analysts are a bit disappointed is on the Igbese plant's expansion. It was scheduled to be completed by February. Can you give some guidance as to when that will be completed? And of course, the expansion of the Obajana plant as well.
Okay, in the case of the Igbese plant, we have already started doing the individual drive tests. That is the first phase of the commissioning. And some of the equipment have already been tested for on trial run basis, and the production will start in Q3, and Obajana production will start in Q4 as we envisaged originally.
But can you just give a sense of why the delays? Because this is one of the issues that some analysts had brought to the fore during your listing last year. Some of the view that some of your expansion projections were quite aggressive. Give us a sense as to why you are a bit behind schedule on these.
You're right, our expansion projections were quite aggressive, but if you've seen the history of the group, from the time we started getting into the real manufacturing mode in 2010, our growth has been remarkable because we have always set very aggressive targets for us. And sometimes, yes, with very aggressive targets, you may miss, but in the case of Igbese, we had a significant impact in clearing up the goods from the port because the imported goods clearing, there were some new circulars from the customs which made an impact in our clearing. The goods were stuck up in the port for a very significant period of time, and that had an impact. Nevertheless, as I said, the target was aggressive, but at least in the case of Obajana, we are still going on target,
Right.
and this will also come soon.
Okay, very quickly, if we can just touch on margins going forward. We've seen diesel prices shoot up significantly this year. We know the likes of Obajana, the Obajana plant is very dependent on gas, but to what extent will your margins be impacted going forward? And of course, the last time we spoke, we discussed the issue of increase in prices as a result of this increase in operating expenditure. What's the position of the Dangote Group on this now?
Well, as you rightly said, Obajana is dependent upon gas, but if you see, we consume a huge quantity of diesel because all our mining equipment are dependent upon diesel. And when it comes to, at the end of the day, the distribution, it has to move through trucks. And those transportation costs and the diesel costs has a significant impact on the bottom line of the company. And the prices have really gone through the roof, and we had to make a price correction very recently. About 2 weeks back, we made a price correction.
Right, so you've increased prices.
To offset at least the increased impact of the diesel prices.
The last point, very quickly. Dangote Cement is expected to be listed on international exchange. What's the update on that point?
Well, in fact, next week, our advisors are doing a presentation on the timelines. And once we have a review of the timelines, we will agree on the timelines and go ahead with that. There has been no change in the plan. And the advisors have been putting up the timelines. And we have also started the process, for example, the IFRS conversion process, which normally should have come much later. We have already started the work on that. We have started the work on internal controls, and we have started on the ERP, ERM, whatever is required for listing on a major international stock exchange. All those works have commenced in all our plans, and we'll agree upon the timelines very shortly.